regedit, regedit, and it shows you the complete registry your computer. So what is the Windows registry? Do you have to more like it's the heart of your computer? Because every single thing that is done in any application, any user, is recorded with your registry. Including one connector, any scanner or printer or USB device, they're all recorded to registry. It is. But we want to go into decode what is each key inside. So that basically is what the registry is, and what we are looking for is Chrome history view. So when you download the system internal, so all these little applications, I think I'm cutting more market. But the one that I'm looking for is the Chrome history view, which is this one. So you see, Kuti, it has the column URLs, the title of the page, right? When it was visited, how many times visited that page, right? And the referee kind of link you to the actually say it's like all this information, if you sort it by date or anything, you can actually view it on what date did you visit this site. All this is possible. So using this information, what can you gather from this? So you can talk about investigate. I'm taking this more from forensics perspective, quite from a lawyer perspective. What can you gather information from browsing history? Yeah.
Maybe likes of the person.
The likes of the person. Is he very active on Facebook? What hobbies does he engage in? What does he like to do? That's one thing. Anything else you can gather from browser history, even from the perspective of actually. You see the forensics. You've never thought, if I had browsing history, what could I?
I think from the perspective, maybe for example, stories like a man or Facebook.
And as a final concept was phishing, you create a fake website, and then you send the link to them on it. Then when you want that fake website, from what you Facebook what you enter password, then they access cheap. But then they don't actually access Facebook first of all. That password is it's gathering, and it's gathered near whatever application you create here, and then you save cheap that username and password. If you want to use them in the future for some other reason, and then sends the person back to Facebook check, which is. So the person wanted to realize between the total cheap market in that scenario, which is called phishing. Any other examples of you wanted to contribute something?
Yeah, maybe you can go check if they make any online payments so that you can start removing your cookies.
Yeah. If somebody has done online payments, you can actually see to which site have they gone to. And if they're not clever enough, you can actually gather animals put off your way, which I mentioned earlier. You could see is this your MasterCard or your Visa card? Over yes, and then everything else is populated with address, the EP, CVV, and everything. So of course it's convenient for Nagawanda, but that information has to be stored somewhere. And the browser in that particular location, that's where all that information is stored. If you're interested, you just go to that particular location, and you are check it on my databases. So you may try and open it in Notepad, and it won't open. I don't have any SQLite, but I won't then go into detail. Generally, how do these tools work? But then using SQLite, on that particular directory, you can view my autofill details, and my login details, and everything else. Right, so that's basically how you view the history using Chrome. Any questions? No. Alright, then there's also this one is in Chrome Pass, which shows you every single password on that particular computer. this person what password he is using for this particular website. So the first column is the LSG, the URL she adding a login from. Actually, URL is whatever is sent to that username and password that is. And then the username field, so upper two more columns and that is. Because if we say view, you can choose columns. There are these two columns, I can see username and password. I did not make them visible because they actually show the username and password during clear text. When I say in clear text, meaning it's an actual search, I could type it to my hash or anything like this. But if you use this tool, you can actually view the username sheet, the password you want. But I can't show you because this is my computer, so you end up knowing my So then it tells you in the username field, because in some cases, username English, email address, which can be a personal username. So if it's an email, it tells you user email. And the password, is a single sign-on. Before we proceed, how many of you have heard of the single sign-on? Yeah. What is single sign-on?
Let's say we are developing two systems that you want to integrate. Let's say there's the each website and the learning management system. So you want to integrate in such a way that when someone logs onto the each website, they also are automatically sent on to the learning management system.
And a simple example is how you use Google, YouTube, Gmail, and this. All those are different products actually at Google. But then if you just enter a password in either one of those, you can actually access Gmail, Yahoo, and YouTube without having to enter the password once again. So you're signing on Kawan, which is where the idea of single sign-on comes in. And of course, it's convenient, but you don't have to remember 20 passwords. But the challenge is, there's a single point of failure with security. So if somebody knows that one password they have access to all your other resources. It's convenient, but then it's also not as secure as we would like. Alright, so then it also tells you the password is strong now to cheat. So I sort of cheating by very strong. And obviously, that means all my passwords are very strong. They got sort of, you can tell which some are very weak. Okay, so that's how we use Chrome passive. But then this is not just limited to Chrome jitters. Yeah, okay. So Pani email is the web browser pass view. I'm not sure if I listed it here. Yeah, web browser pass view, this one. What it basically does is, it works in the exact same way as a Chrome pass. But now in this case, it affects Firefox, Opera, any other browser you use it. It's like it's limited towards Chrome. It's not any browser you use. You can gather passwords from all those browsers. And in some computers, you'll find let's take Chrome for example. In again, kind of 3 profiles. You would pani yako, sister yako, and have lots of other stuff. It then gives you an index for index 1, adding this person, index 2, adding this person. So you won't end up mixing between Luisa password, Yahoo, Penichi, browser. So with respect to effectiveness, I think web browser pass view is more efficient than Chrome pass. Because it's not like it is to shutter Chrome. Some use Firefox for some other reasons. So it's basically the same columns. Alright, then now for Wireshark. Unfortunately, I'm not going to create a hotspot. Unless someone was willing to create their own hotspot. Yeah.
He has created one.
You created one? What's the name? This one? Yeah. Maybe next time I can come and talk to you about my Wi-Fi passwords. And the secret is hard. Because I think you've come across my networks saying it's over 40 versions, which are WPA, PSK, and WPS and stuff. That all means something. Wait, so let's test what is it function. As I finished up and I actually get a ping. Ping is more like a test code, not any connection between you and some computer and remote. I think you've done this before. Alright, so now that Google is working, before I close this. So what I was saying earlier is, among those tools, this is internal suite. Panic, you know, the USB D if you want it. You don't have to take it down because it's within that internal suite. It lists all machine. Different USB devices that will be connected to your computer. Computer power is to the operating system here. So it tells you what is the device here, the type here, and also is it currently connected or not. And each and every device is assigned a unique device name. They need device ID, but then the device ID I only stored on the panel. So in the end, you can actually view every single device that's been connected to your computer. And I'm saying this more like from a perspective of forensics foot and let's say you know somebody installed the virus by computer, but then you don't know who exactly did it. So you can check the last plugin, last unplugging date. So you can know at this particular time this person plugged in plus what computer power. So most likely, since I started being affected by virus, so this is the most likely culprit of this. So now what we want to do is to do the demonstration in Wireshark. So as I said, Wireshark is an open source tool that you can use for everything. As long as it involves monitoring a network or sniffing. What is sniffing? Because what we're trying to do about is sniffing. Can anyone tell me what is sniffing? Kind of packet sniffing. It feels like Dubuto now digital plasma.
Hold on, we covered this topic, eh?
No answer is wrong. We'll correct each other.
Good man.
What is sniffing? Yeah, that is true. But you're listening for any traffic over a connection. So what I want to do here is finding particular websites that are known to be vulnerable. As in for investigators of security, they are supposed to know these websites. If you want to be arrested for doing any tests by it. One of those websites is this one, the zero.web app security. What it is a fake bank website. It's a fake banking website. For anyone who wants to try and do my test Spanish, a scenario ruins e-bank rates or ethically. So in this case, this is what the interface looks like for the particular bank. So what we want to do is we want to try and sniff username and password. And you'll notice when you find this URL or your PHP, there is something missing, which is very important for security. What is missing? HTTPS. But then the thing is, if you try and tell people, I will always use HTTPS and stuff, they won't really understand what is the need. Unless you demonstrate quality, This is what happens if you don't have HTTPS. So at this demonstration, we're trying to show with in the absence of HTTPS, what is visible on the console. So let's go to sign-in page. And at that sign-in page here, you want to enter a login, which is obviously fake, their password is fake. And what we'll do is we'll take that login and password, then we'll try and check pane traffic data capture. Can we find that information in clear text? I'll keep on referring to these two terms, ciphertext and clear text. Ciphertext is something that's encrypted, and clear text is in plain text. So now that we've gone to this website, we initiate the scanning or the monitoring profile from Wireshark. So Wireshark lists the different interfaces you have on your computer. And saying I can Ethernet 1, 2, 3. Actually, Ethernet is this is the actual Ethernet port chip. You have on your computer. There's no pin cable here. Then 2 and 3. These are the ones in my virtual machines. Computer farm. Because for a virtual machine to connect outside the network, it first has to go through chip. This host computer have reality. So how they do that is through chip, these Ethernet connections. Another point I forgot to mention, but actually please ensure that if you're doing that experiment, that computer app or that virtual machine is not on a network of any kind. Go to disable the electric card of that virtual machine. It is. I'm assuming that you know how to disable the network card on the virtual machine. Can you see that? What is that? Alright, let's just take a XP attribute. Alright, so mukona pazasapa paneka icon akanzi nat a mistake pa kuti you right click it at it, then you say disconnect. So earlier panga flash but then when you say disconnect, it's no longer connected. That means that whatever happens within this virtual machine cannot spread into your host computer. It is. So of course you can try and use my different settings in my virtual machines actually, because there are different network connections you can use. Single kind of settings in my virtual machines. Pane these 3 particular types of networks which you can have between your computer and your virtual machine. The first one is engaged where you're actually connecting the VM virtual machine VM to your actual network. You know, pure IP address, you need to clear. And then you have NAS mode, is sharing the IP address with this computer. How to sharing to which you've done network address translation. You will take it within a network. My IP address, but for those in the outside our network, we all have one IP address. And then we have host only equity is just a connection between computer YAM and a virtual machine. And we're not going anywhere outside. But still, in that case, it's advisable to actually disconnect the interface actually. Right, so continuing. So to return the initial state that you go to menu against the VM, the snapshot, and then you can either reverse to the one that they suggest against reverse to 104. This is the name I gave you, or these are different other snapshots are equal. They will snapshot one which there is double pulse shadows, but it's some of the experiments I did. So if you say reverse to snapshot here, 104 running. So that's yes. We go back Kunichi. Paratangira by the Bokushi zip file. And the team of files in this to bad as in this format. So that's the basic idea, my snapshot.